Good morning, afternoon, evening. When we hear the term Jezebel, it conjures images of power, manipulation, and influence. But what does it truly mean to be Jezebel possessed? Today, I want us to look beyond the labels and into the essence of this archetype, a spirit of control and deception that we see mirrored in many aspects of life. In ancient texts, Jezebel was a queen whose actions were defined by cunning and a relentless pursuit of dominance. But let me ask you this: how often do we see those same traits manifesting in our world today? In our workplaces, communities, and even within ourselves? Being Jezebel possessed isn't about a single person. It's about a pattern, a way of operating that seeks power at the expense of connection, truth, and mutual respect. It is the seductive voice that says, manipulate to win, control to feel secure, deceive to protect your image. This behavior destroys trust, it isolates people, it poisons communities, and the most insidious part, it often hides a mask of charm, pretending to care while pulling strings behind the scenes. But here's the truth: the antidote to being Jezebel possessed lies in vulnerability. It's in choosing honesty over deceit, humility over dominance, and connection over control. We must start with ourselves. Let's ask, where in my life am I tempted to manipulate? Where do I try to control? Am I creating spaces for truth and transparency, or am I weaving a web of my own design? When we identify these tendencies, we reclaim our power, not power over others, but power over ourselves. We begin to lead lives that inspire trust, love, and genuine connection. And here's the challenge I leave you with today in every interaction. Ask yourself, am I serving or controlling? Am I building up or breaking down? Because when we choose to live in alignment with our highest values, we dismantle the spirit of manipulation, one choice at a time. Understanding the concept of being Jezebel possessed requires delving deeper than surface-level associations. The term Jezebel originates from ancient texts where Jezebel, a queen, became a symbol of cunning manipulation, unchecked ambition, and a relentless drive for control. Over time, this name transcended its historical roots to represent a behavioral pattern, a metaphorical spirit, if you will, found not just in individuals but in systems, cultures, and dynamics. At its core, this concept embodies the inclination to manipulate circumstances or people to achieve personal goals, often at the expense of integrity, fairness, and relationships. It's not about the person, but the actions, the intent, and the energy behind those actions. It's the whisper in someone's ear that says winning is all that matters, or control them so they can't hurt you. It's the drive to orchestrate outcomes through deception, coercion, or emotional exploitation, rather than through transparency and mutual respect. What's fascinating is that this pattern is rarely overt. It thrives in subtlety. It's in the seemingly innocuous behaviors steering conversations to serve a hidden agenda, fostering dependency to maintain dominance, or distorting truths to protect one's image. It hides behind charm and often presents itself as concern or helpfulness, masking the true intention of wielding influence over others. Understanding this concept also invites introspection. It challenges us to recognize these tendencies not only in others but also within ourselves. None of us are immune to the temptation of control, especially when fear or insecurity takes hold. It's in these moments that the Jezebel spirit becomes most potent, feeding off vulnerabilities and turning them into mechanisms of manipulation. This isn't a condemnation, but a call to awareness. When we recognize this pattern for what it is, a destructive force that erodes trust, damages relationships, and undermines authenticity, we can begin to address it. We can choose a different path, one rooted in honesty, respect, and genuine connection. Understanding the concept isn't about labeling others, it's about identifying a behavior and taking the steps to transform it, both in ourselves and in the world around us. The cultural and historical context of being Jezebel possessed is deeply rooted in ancient narratives and has evolved over time to reflect broader societal behaviors. Jezebel, a figure from the Hebrew Bible, was the wife of King Ahab of Israel. She's remembered as a queen whose influence was marked by her defiance of traditional moral codes and her manipulation of power to serve her own ends. Historically, Jezebel's story has been used as a cautionary tale about unchecked ambition, deception, and the consequences of prioritizing personal gain over communal well-being. Her actions were not just about personal control, but also about challenging established structures. She introduced foreign ideologies and practices into a kingdom rooted in specific traditions, using her charm and authority to sway those around her. To her detractors, Jezebel represented rebellion against divine order, using cunning strategies to achieve her goals. Over time, her name became synonymous with manipulation, deceit, and the pursuit of power at any cost. In broader cultural terms, the archetype of Jezebel has transcended its original context. It has been applied to describe behaviors or systems that prioritize control and influence through less than honest means. This archetype has been invoked in literature, religion, and even modern psychology to highlight the dangers of manipulation and coercion. The Jezebel spirit, as it is often called, is seen not as a literal possession, but as a metaphorical force, a way to describe patterns of behavior that undermine trust, exploit vulnerability, and perpetuate cycles of domination and fear. The historical use of this term also reveals societal attitudes, particularly regarding women and power. Jezebel has often been unfairly cast as a symbol of female ambition gone awry, reflecting cultural discomfort with women wielding authority. While her story warns against manipulation and control, it also serves as a lens through which to examine how societies have historically viewed and labeled those, especially women, who operate outside conventional norms. In today's world, the Jezebel archetype serves as both a warning and a mirror. It warns of the destructive potential of deceit and coercion while mirroring our own tendencies to label and judge. By understanding its historical and cultural roots, we can better navigate the dynamics of power and influence in our own lives, learning to balance ambition with integrity and influence with empathy. Recognizing the traits of being Jezebel possessed requires a careful look at patterns of behavior that prioritize control, manipulation, and self-serving motives over honesty and collaboration. These traits are often subtle and can manifest in ways that are easily overlooked or misunderstood. The hallmark of this behavior is the use of influence to dominate or manipulate others, often cloaked in charm or an outward appearance of concern. One of the most common traits is manipulation. This involves orchestrating situations to achieve a desired outcome, regardless of how it affects others. It can take many forms, twisting words, withholding information, or playing on emotions like guilt or fear to steer others toward a particular action or decision. The goal is not mutual benefit, but rather personal gain, often at the expense of others' well-being or autonomy. Another key characteristic is the need for control. This can manifest as an obsessive desire to dictate outcomes, micromanage situations, or suppress opposing viewpoints. Those exhibiting these traits often feel threatened by unpredictability or dissent, and may go to great lengths to ensure that things unfold according to their plan. This control is not always overt. It can be exercised subtly through persuasion, influence, or strategic alliances. Deception is another critical trait. Whether through outright lies or more nuanced distortions of the truth, deception serves as a tool to maintain power and protect self-interest. This can include presenting a false image to gain trust, deflecting blame, or creating confusion to obscure the true nature of one's intentions. A sense of entitlement often accompanies these behaviors. There is an underlying belief that their needs, desires, or perspectives are more important than those of others, justifying their manipulative actions. This entitlement can lead to exploiting others without remorse, viewing people as mere instruments to achieve personal goals. A divisive nature is frequently evident. Those Jezebel possessed often sow discord to weaken opposition or strengthen their own position. They may pit people against each other, foster misunderstandings, or create environments where trust is eroded. This divisiveness serves to isolate potential challengers and consolidate their influence. Recognizing these traits is not about labeling or condemning individuals, but about understanding behaviors that can harm relationships and communities. It is also an opportunity for self-reflection. None of us are immune to the temptations of manipulation or control, especially when we feel vulnerable or insecure. By identifying these tendencies, whether in ourselves or others, we can begin to address them, fostering healthier dynamics built on trust, respect, and mutual growth. The impact of being Jezebel possessed on relationships and communities is profound and far-reaching, often creating a ripple effect of distrust, conflict, and emotional harm. At its core, the behaviors associated with this mindset manipulation Control, deceit, and divisiveness undermine the very foundations of healthy interactions and collective well-being. Relationships which thrive on honesty and mutual respect become strained when one party consistently seeks to dominate or exploit the other. In personal relationships, these traits can lead to significant emotional damage. Manipulation erodes trust, leaving the manipulated party feeling disempowered and skeptical of others' intentions. Deceptive behaviors, whether subtle or overt, create a sense of instability and insecurity. Over time, these actions can cause resentment, fear, and a breakdown of emotional intimacy as individuals struggle to navigate a dynamic rooted in control rather than collaboration. In communities, the effects are magnified. When individuals or groups operate with a Jezebel-possessed mindset, the environment becomes toxic. Trust among members deteriorates as manipulation and deceit foster suspicion and division. People begin to question motives, and the sense of unity that holds a community together weakens. This divisiveness can manifest in various ways: cliques forming, conflicts escalating, or a general reluctance to engage openly and honestly. Such behaviors often discourage collaboration and innovation. When fear and control dominate, individuals may hold back their true thoughts or ideas, fearing repercussions or exploitation. This stifles creativity and prevents the community from reaching its full potential. Moreover, the emotional toll of these dynamics can lead to burnout, apathy, and disengagement as people distance themselves to protect their well-being. The damage extends beyond immediate relationships and communities. When these patterns persist, they can perpetuate cycles of dysfunction that spread to larger societal structures. Families, organizations, and even cultural norms can be influenced by these behaviors, embedding manipulation and control into the fabric of how people interact and operate. However, understanding this impact also provides an opportunity for change. By recognizing these behaviors and their consequences, individuals and communities can take steps to address them. Encouraging open communication, fostering empathy, and prioritizing transparency are powerful antidotes to the harm caused by a Jezebel-possessed mindset. Healing begins when people commit to building trust, valuing authenticity, and creating spaces where all voices are heard and respected. Through these efforts, the destructive effects on relationships and communities can be reversed, paving the way for growth, connection, and resilience. Personal accountability is at the heart of addressing the behaviors and patterns associated with being Jezebel-possessed. It begins with a willingness to reflect honestly on one's own actions, motives, and tendencies. Often it's easy to see manipulation, control, or deceit in others while overlooking similar traits in ourselves. Yet true accountability requires us to recognize that these behaviors can exist within us, especially in moments of insecurity, fear, or a desire for power. Taking responsibility starts with self-awareness. This involves examining how we interact with others and asking difficult questions. Am I trying to control this situation to serve my own interests? Am I being completely honest in my communication? Am I fostering trust and collaboration? Or am I creating tension and division? These questions demand introspection and a readiness to confront uncomfortable truths about our behavior. Another critical aspect of accountability is acknowledging the impact of our actions on others. Manipulation, even when it seems minor or justified, can leave others feeling disrespected or devalued. Recognizing and taking ownership of these effects is essential for building stronger, healthier relationships. This might involve apologizing when we've crossed a line, making amends, or actively working to rebuild trust that may have been damaged. It's also important to identify the underlying motivations behind controlling or manipulative behaviors. Often, these actions stem from deeper fears: fear of failure, rejection, or losing control. By addressing these root causes, we can begin to replace harmful patterns with healthier ones. For instance, instead of resorting to control, we can practice vulnerability and trust, allowing others to share responsibility and decision-making. Holding oneself accountable is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's a commitment to ongoing self-improvement and a willingness to learn from mistakes. This requires humility, the ability to admit when we're wrong, and to seek guidance or support when needed. It also involves setting personal boundaries to avoid being drawn into manipulative dynamics with others. Personal accountability is empowering. It allows us to take control of our own growth and transformation, breaking free from patterns that damage relationships and communities. By committing to honesty, empathy, and self-awareness, we can not only improve our own lives, but also inspire others to do the same. In this way, accountability becomes a catalyst for healing and positive change, both within ourselves and in the world around us. The path to transformation from the behaviors and traits associated with being Jezebel possessed is a journey of self-awareness, intentional change, and continuous growth. It requires recognizing the destructive impact of manipulation, control, and deceit, both on others and on oneself, and making a conscious decision to pursue a different way of being. This transformation is not instant, but rather a process of gradual shifts in mindset, behavior, and values. The first step is acknowledgement. Transformation begins with the courage to admit that certain behaviors, whether controlling, manipulative, or divisive, are present and need to change. This involves taking an honest look at patterns in relationships, decisions, and interactions. Without acknowledgement, no meaningful change can occur. Once there is awareness, the next step is understanding. This involves exploring the root causes of these behaviors. Often, manipulation and control stem from deep-seated fears, insecurities, or unmet needs. Understanding these underlying issues allows for compassion toward oneself, while also creating the space to address and heal from them. Seeking therapy, mentorship, or spiritual guidance can be invaluable during this phase. The third step is replacing harmful behaviors with healthier alternatives. Instead of controlling, practice trust. Instead of manipulating, embrace transparency. Instead of dividing, focus on building connections. These changes require intentionality and practice. For example, learning to listen actively, express needs openly, and handle conflicts with respect can foster a foundation of honesty and mutual respect in relationships. Another crucial aspect of transformation is accountability. This means taking responsibility for past actions, making amends where possible, and committing to ongoing self-improvement. Surrounding oneself with people who value integrity and are willing to provide honest feedback can help keep the transformation process on track. Building new habits is also key. This involves reinforcing behaviors that align with values such as empathy, authenticity, and collaboration. Journaling, meditating, or setting daily intentions can help anchor these new practices. Over time, they become second nature, gradually replacing old patterns. Finally, transformation is sustained through community and purpose. Engaging with others who share similar values provides encouragement and accountability. Aligning one's actions with a higher purpose, whether it's serving others, fostering positive change, or building meaningful relationships, offers a sense of fulfillment that far outweighs the fleeting satisfaction of control or manipulation. Transformation is a journey that requires patience, self-compassion, and perseverance. It is not about erasing the past, but about learning from it and using those lessons to create a better future. By committing to this path, individuals can not only free themselves from destructive patterns, but also inspire those around them to do the same, fostering a ripple effect of healing and growth. In conclusion, the behaviors and patterns tied to being Jezebel possessed are not just about historical archetypes or labels. They reflect challenges we all face in our lives. The temptation to control, manipulate, or deceive can arise in anyone, but it doesn't have to define us. By acknowledging these tendencies, understanding their roots, and committing to change, we open the door to a life of authenticity, trust, and connection. Transformation is not about perfection, it's about progress and intentional growth. When we choose honesty over deceit, vulnerability over control, and unity over division, we create the foundation for healthier relationships and stronger communities. This journey starts with personal accountability and extends outward, inspiring others to embrace integrity and mutual respect. Let us commit today to being agents of healing and change, not by pointing fingers, but by leading with our own example. Together, we can dismantle the destructive patterns that hold us back and build a world rooted in empathy, truth, and collaboration. Thank you.